there's a storm of frustration mixed with a glimmer of relief for one small business owner in Dolton, Illinois. After months of stonewalling, legal battles, and blatant abuse of power, Tiffany Henyard finally walked out of a Cook County courtroom. Holding the liquor licenses, she fought tooth and nail to obtain licenses she needed just to open the doors of St. Patrick's, our family's dream restaurant. But make no mistake, this wasn't a routine licensing delay or a simple case of bureaucratic red tape. This was a calculated move by Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who also happens to hold the role of Dolton's liquor commissioner, a position she's shamelessly used to target, intimidate, and block business owners she can't control or shake down. The court battle escalated when Judge Cecilia Heron issued a direct and unmistakable order to Henyard to sign the licenses by 5 p.m. on Thursday, or face the legal consequences. And what did Henyard do? She ignored the judge, completely defying a court order, as if the rules of law don't apply to her. That kind of arrogance isn't surprising if you've been following her track record. This is a mayor who has spent years treating Dolton like her personal playground, rewarding allies, punishing enemies, and weaponizing her office in ways that have left local business owners scrambling for survival. This isn't just about one business. I've been reporting for over a year on how Henyard has systematically sabotaged local businesses, particularly those she couldn't bully or extort for political support or campaign donations. Tiffany Henyard, another black woman entrepreneur, became one of many caught in Henyard's crosshairs. But unlike others who may have folded under pressure or walked away in frustration, Henyard took a stand, and that stand brought her straight into a courtroom showdown with the so-called city girl mayor. Let's be crystal clear. What Henyard did wasn't negligence. It was targeted obstruction. By withholding Henyard's liquor licenses, Henyard deliberately stopped her from opening her business, costing her thousands of dollars in lost revenue, and forcing her to pour even more money into a grueling legal fight. And while Henyard walked out of court with a victory, Henyard walked out with a criminal contempt charge on her record. Of course. Henyard's attorney, Max Solomon, scrambled to do damage control, spinning the story with the weak excuse that the delay was due to another entity being involved in the paperwork. But anyone with common sense can see through that. You don't get slapped with a criminal contempt charge over a paperwork misunderstanding. This was Henyard flexing her political muscle, and this time it blew up in her face. But Henyard isn't just settling for the licenses. She's demanding Henyard be held financially accountable for the damages she caused, the lost time, the lost money, and the unnecessary legal costs. And honestly, who could blame her? The way this mayor operates, it's as if she believes she's above the law, untouchable. But the law caught up with her this time, and many in Dolton are hoping this is just the beginning. Let's face it, if this had been any other citizen, they'd be sitting in a jail cell for blowing off a judge's direct order. But this is Tiffany Henyard we're talking about, a mayor known for her belligerent, arrogant behavior. This wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This is how she runs the village, through fear, intimidation, and outright defiance of authority. That restaurant should have been open long ago, providing jobs for locals and generating tax dollars for Dolton. Instead, Henyard sat on those licenses, flexing her power like some self-appointed queen while draining the village's finances dry with her reckless spending. And let's not forget the whistleblower who came forward last year, exposing exactly how deep Henyard's corruption runs. According to sworn testimony, Henyard ordered staff not to issue business licenses to anyone who didn't support her politically. You read that right. If you weren't on her donor list or didn't fall in line with her agenda, she used her rude office to shut you down. To corruption, plain and simple. One of those whistleblowers, Sisha Williams, wasn't just blowing smoke. She's now part of a lawsuit alongside 2 other former village employees suing Henyard and the village of Dolton. Williams shared how the toxic work environment became unbearable when Henyard started making unethical and possibly illegal demands like withholding permits and licenses from anyone who wouldn't donate to her campaign or anyone she simply didn't like. And when Williams raised concerns, how did Henyard respond? By demoting her to the water department, even though Williams was the only employee qualified to process business licenses. And after stripping her of her duties, they fired her. Does this sound like the actions of a public servant? Or a political tyrant hell-bent on using her office for personal gain? Unfortunately, this pattern of behavior has become the norm in Dolton under Henyard's reign. She's been weaponizing her authority for years, punishing anyone who dared to stand up against her, and until now, getting away with it. But Henyard's troubles aren't stopping at local lawsuits and contempt charges. Enter former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was brought in by Dolton's Board of Trustees to investigate the village's financial catastrophe. A catastrophe that traces directly back to Henyard's leadership. What Lightfoot uncovered wasn't just troubling, it was explosive. Dolton, once a village with a healthy financial surplus, has now plummeted into a $6 million deficit. That's right, $6 million in the hole. And the list of financial irregularities is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Overtime payouts that doubled officers' salaries. $40,000 spent on Amazon in a single day. And the kicker, Dolton didn't even have an Amazon account. Massive credit card spending, nearly $780,000 between 2022 and 2023, with zero transparency on where the money went or why it was spent. Lightfoot's investigation revealed a coordinated effort by Henyard and her administration to mislead both the trustees and the public about the village's financial health. Henyard even tried to block the investigation itself, vetoing it outright until the board overrode her. Why? Because the last thing she wanted was for the truth to come out. And when Lightfoot dug into the numbers, the corruption became undeniable. That $40,000 Amazon purchase, Henyard claimed it was for the village's ice rink. But guess what? Ice rink never opened. This wasn't just mismanagement. It was a systematic abuse of power and public funds. And Henyard didn't stop with Dolton. She brought the same reckless behavior over to Thornton Township, jacking up the township's credit card limit from $30,000 to $200,000. and running it up like it was her personal account. And where are the higher authorities? The state? The district attorney? The governor? Nowhere to be seen. The only people who've been consistently fighting for accountability are the residents of Dolton, the real watchdogs. The people who refused to be silenced while their village was looted in broad daylight. Since last year, people have been asking when the federal government is going to step in. And believe me when I say this, they're coming. The indictments of people close to Henyard aren't coincidences. They're warning shots. And mark my words, before this year is out between April and July, Tiffany Henyard will be indicted. The walls are closing in, and she knows it. So what do you think? Is it finally time for this mayor to face real accountability? Should the people of Dolton get justice for the corruption, the abuse, and the financial disaster she's caused? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And to those supporting this platform, Roland C., Creed, Charles, Ag, Samuel, thank you. You're the reason stories like this stay in the spotlight. If you want fearless, honest analysis from a woman who won't back down, hit that subscribe button. Like, share, and let's keep the pressure on, because this isn't over. Not by a long shot.